IslamDunk.
Islam is a principle. Islam is a comprehensive system. Islam is a law. Muslims, say La ilaha illallah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, sallallahu I watch IslamDunk, Jibreel, broadcasting, Toronto, Sheikh Abdul-Raheem Green, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Inshallah, alhamdulillah, we're attending the Journey of Faith convention about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Brother Abdul-Raheem Green has joined us from UK, from England, and why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself and what you do, and just a little background on how you came to Islam.
Okay. I just talk about how I became Muslim, right?
Alright.
Do you want the long story or the short story?
Short, nice, concise.
Short, nice and concise and short. I read the Quran, I believed it was from Allah, and I became Muslim.
What made you believe from the Quran?
That's a good question. The main thing was the verses about paradise and hellfire and the Day of Judgment. Because I figured that if a book was from God, and that there was going to be a Day of Judgment, and there was going to be a hellfire, and there was going to be a paradise, then I would expect that book to talk about those things a lot.
It's very interesting because a lot of people feel disenchanted when it comes to hell, especially the descriptions of hell in the Quran. So that's a very interesting and unique, I think, thing that, alhamdulillah.
Why do they feel disenchanted, bro?
I don't know. I wonder about that. But I'm saying it's a very unique point that you're making. That not a lot of people.
Yeah, I find that's weird what you're saying. They just don't like hearing about it. They don't like being reminded where they're going to go.
People are scared about that. Yeah, people are scared for sure.
Yeah.
You come from a Christian background. And we heard today that you were pretty unhappy with Christianity from an early age, from the age of 8. What was?
Who told you that?
We heard today in the Journey of Faith conference.
I didn't hear that bit. I wasn't, I couldn't say I was unhappy. I basically, I remember the first questions coming into my head when I was about, 8, 9 years old. That's when I started thinking, okay, what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. When my mother was telling me Hail Mary, Hail Mary,
right.
Hail Mary, full of grace. Anyway, I can't remember it now. It says Mother of God. So I thought, how can God have a mother? What's that supposed to be, Mother of God? God's supposed to be without beginning and out. How do you give birth to God? So that's the thing. God has a mummy. That didn't make any sense. So those are the first questions that started coming to my head about Christianity, and they didn't go away. They just got more. So I had lots of questions, things that just I was not satisfied with at all.
Did you find when you were trying to look for the answers, talking probably to people, priests maybe, were people dodging these questions, or were they answering it?
Well, sometimes they'd give you answers, but they weren't really satisfactory answers. I don't remember the priests that, at my school, they never really said that, you just have to believe it,
right.
Stop asking questions. They weren't, I heard a lot of people who have that type of experience,
right, yeah.
But that was not my experience. It's just that the answers were not really good ones. And I just wasn't really satisfied. It just didn't make much sense.
How did you come upon the Quran and start reading it? What events led to that?
Well, I was searching through lots of different religions. And it was, strangely enough, I had stopped. I got to a stage in my search where I'd gone through so many different things, and I began to think that there is no truth out there. Maybe that the purpose of life is just to make money. just didn't have enough money. So I started thinking, who are the richest people in the world who did the least amount of work in order to make their money? So when I started thinking about that, it came to my mind that, you know, I was thinking about all the different people, you know, like, you know, the British Industrial Revolution, you know, all that work, it's too much work. The Americans, I mean, they got money, but that's all, you know, like, the American dream is dig yourself out of the gutter and
Right.
self-made millionaire. It's just way too much work. They're Japanese. All they do is work, you know. Well, anyway, it was then, back in those days, 20 years ago, the Japanese were famous for like just working, doing nothing else. Then it came to me, those Saudis have been sitting on their camels for like, you know, however long, right? And they've done nothing. What have they done? Nothing, just going, Allahu Akbar and this and that, and they got all this money. I said, that sounds good. No work, lots of money. That sounds a recipe for success, you know? And that is what made me pick up the Quran.
Wow. Growing up in
But you know, you think that's weird, right?
I don't think.
No, say yeah. I think that's weird.
Okay, I think it's weird.
You don't have to say it if you don't believe it. I don't want to force you to say something.
No, based on how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in this universe, I don't think anything is weird, you know?
Yeah, but I was going to mention, right, Musa. You know the story of Musa?
Which one?
Musa, Prophet Moses, bro.
Moses, right.
Sorry, yes. No problems, man. Moses. You know the story of Prophet Moses in the Quran, right, where he's looking for a light for his family to fight. You know, he's in the desert with his family and the sheep, and he's looking, and he sees a light, and he says, maybe we can get some guidance from there. We can get some. So he's only looking for something from the dunya. But what does he find? He finds the burning bush where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to him. You see,
deep.
It's deep, bro.
That is deep.
Sometimes you're looking for something from the dunya, but Allah guides you to the path, bro. Yeah.
Amazing. Alhamdulillah. And you grew up in Dar es Salaam, right?
No, I was born there. I didn't grow up there. I mean, I left when I was 2. I don't remember anything
So you
about
don't know
it.
anything.
No.
What were your earliest interactions with Muslims?
Probably in Dar es Salaam, come to think of it. I don't remember anything of it, you know. But I mean, my dad, when he was 10 years, not when he was 10 years old, when I was 10 years old, we moved. It's late, bro. It's late, you know what I mean.
Late, yeah.
And he moved out to Egypt to work there, and so that's when I first really started to interact with Muslims. I mean, maybe I'd met Muslims before, but I don't know.
So you lived in Egypt for some time?
Well, I spent my holidays there, but we went to school in England. So my school was in UK, my holidays were spent in Egypt, and that's where I really sort of began to meet Muslims. And
did you ever hear the Quran being recited, the adhan?
yeah, I must have. I certainly heard the adhan.
Right.
You know, I used to hear it a lot.
Right.
There was this amazing thing, really amazing, that sometimes we'd be up partying all night. In fact, not sometimes.
A lot.
Partying all night a lot of times now. Anyway, yeah, alhamdulillah, Allah guided us, you know, and alhamdulillah took us away from that rubbish, man. And you know, we'd be sitting on the balcony, and there's this amazing thing that, you know, you hear the adhan starts, you know, one part of the city, it's in Cairo, right? And then you hear another adhan, right? And within like seconds, the whole city erupts into this adhan everywhere. There's just noise, right? And then it starts dying down, and you hear a little bit here and a little bit there, and this goes on for just an amazing thing, you know. And you know, there's the dawn, you know, the dawn's just coming, and the way the whole city, you know, this adhan just is everywhere. It's an amazing thing, you know. You know, I never really thought about it at the time, of course, but you know, things like that. Seeing my cook, we used to have a cook and a sufragi, so like a guy who does the cleaning and stuff. And the cook used to pray 5 times a day. It was just, you know, seeing him pray was just an amazing thing. You know, just to see that. It certainly had a big influence on me. It used to impress me a lot in terms of, because if you can imagine, you know, I'm seeing this our cook pray, who's a very humble, simple guy. and then I go to back to school, which is monastic boarding school. So you've got all the monks in their robes,
Right.
and you've got the mass and the benediction and the hullabaloo and the sings and the benediction and all that type of stuff going on, right? And then I'm comparing this with that, this with that. Monks are supposed to take vows of chastity and
Right.
poverty, and yet you see this guy putting his prayer mat, just standing, bowing, prostrated. It's not rocket science.
Right.
Which one is worshipping God the way God should be worshipped? It's not rocket science. This, that, this.
Anyone can do it.
You can tell straight away. Exactly. And that's
Well,
the other
have to
thing.
be
This is the other thing. That's a good point you made, bro. Because, subhanAllah, you can make this prayer any place. You can be on a desert island and you can pray. You can be in an aeroplane, you can be anywhere.
You can pray with your wife.
You can pray with your...
Speaking of chastity.
Where did that come from? Are you married, bro?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Speaking of chastity,
you're not one of those brothers that's not married and just wife.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
May Allah help them.
Alhamdulillah.
And to get a wife.
Inshallah.
And no, but back to the salah, bro. Back to the salah. You can't do. If you don't have a priest, how are you gonna
get atoned?
Yeah, how are you gonna do the mass, bro? How are you gonna eat Holy Communion? No priest, no go. You're lost, right? No confession. No. What are you gonna do if you're on a desert island? You can't practice the Catholic faith because you just haven't got all the paraphernalia, right? So, but as a Muslim, you can pray anywhere. Alhamdulillah, it's just you and Allah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is, bro. That's Islam. Amazing.
Do you remember the day when you became Muslim?
I didn't really become Muslim like that. I didn't sort of take a shahada.
No.
I didn't go through the sort of take the shahada. It was sort of more like I sort of drifted into Islam. I sort of studied and I read and I met some people and I don't really have that sort of shahada moment exactly. But I do remember that the first time I went to a masjid and I prayed in Jama'at the first time. I remember that. I remember coming out feeling just transformed by that experience. So that was amazing. But I didn't really have a sort of shahada moment, which is cool. For those who do.
Right.
Alhamdulillah. Which is, I don't want anyone who's listening or watching to think it's some big thing.
Right.
People get like weird ideas, like, oh my God, I'm becoming Muslim now. What do I have to do?
Right.
Like, do I have to do this or that?
Right.
It's just simple. You just say, I testify there's no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger. And for some people who are Muslim, you're Muslim.
So there's no special rituals or anything like that. Anyone can do it anytime. So any of our viewers who might be thinking about it right now.
Don't even think about it, just do it.
Do it.
Because you'll never regret it as long as you follow Islam. Or do your best. Alhamdulillah, that's the main thing.
Amazing. Yeah. A lot of the brothers and sisters that are our viewers are new Muslims. People have just embraced Islam recently.
Right.
And they struggle with a lot of issues. Yeah. Did you have this period of struggle?
I certainly did, yeah.
What kept you going?
What kept me going?
Yes.
Well, I just knew it was the truth. There was nothing else. You can't hide from the, once you know the truth, where are you going to go? Right.
Basically, a lot of people do.
Nothing kept me going. When I first became Muslim, I read the Quran, I started practicing Islam a little bit, and then, my girlfriend found out and she freaked out, and basically I stopped practicing Islam. And that just sort of went on for 2 years where I was in this sort of... It's an elephant outside. And I think viewers might not have picked that up.
Right.
But anyway, there was this time when I was really, I believed in Islam. I knew the Quran was from Allah. I was sure about that. Right. I knew Muhammad was the Prophet, but I wasn't, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But
we might have an elephant on the hallway.
Seriously. But Yeah, I knew that, but I just was not living my life as a Muslim.
Mm.
And you know, that's really the worst state you can ever be in, is
Mm.
when you know the truth and you're not living according to the truth.
Mm. So, it's dramatic relief, everyone. Comic relief.
There's a guy blowing his nose like 20 times outside in the corridor. Maybe we should get a recording of that so the viewers can hear.
Going back to your story, did you right away started praying? Did you right away complete the 5 daily prayer?
No, I think
all the Ramadan?
I didn't, and that's what I would say to anyone who's a new Muslim,
Take it easy.
always thinking about becoming a Muslim, right? Is that, what I would say is that, no, take it easy, but no, I mean, the most important thing is to start praying 5 times a day. That is the key. The key to being a Muslim is the 5 prayers.
That link to Allah subhanahu.
That is absolutely it. If you can sort that out, if you sort out your 5 daily prayers, you say them properly and on time, and you're sincere, and your prayer is an inner prayer as well as an outer prayer, then it's like putting yourself on autopilot. Everything is going to follow. Everything will be easy. Your Islam will be easy. Your life will be easy. That's really the key. The prayer, the 5 prayers. But if you don't sort your prayers out, everything will always be like this, like that, up and down, So the prayer is the key, Get your prayers in order, sort your prayers out. Like I say, if you're the sort of person that you're trying to see, how can I fit my prayers into my life? So you've got your life, and let me see, where can I fit my prayers into my life? That's not the right way to be. Right? You say, here are my prayers, let me fit my life around the prayers. You see, that's Islam. You are a person whose life is centered around your Creator. To use, although we don't find this exactly mentioned like this in the Quran, but, it's your relationship with Allah. Your personal relationship with Allah. When you're praying 5 times a day, your life is based around that relationship with God. It makes your whole existence focused upon that.
So your prayers are not scheduled based on your day is scheduled based on your prayers, pretty much.
Yeah, and you see, if you have that mentality, you have that attitude, then you have a God-focused life. You see. Now, if you live in a Muslim country and that is sort of following Islam, then that's happening anyway, because the adhan comes and it's just that's how it is. The whole life is sort of arranged around the prayers. People originally would go to work after Fajr.
Right.
They break for the Dhuhr prayer, then they have the siesta, which is whatever, the sleep, whatever. Come back, just before Asr, break for Asr. The whole day is brought, and it's natural, because the prayers fall at these natural points in the day, dawn, midday, mid-afternoon, sunset, night time. So the whole society, the whole life becomes this life that's based around worshipping God, which is why we've been created.
3 more questions. One, do you find that being a Muslim now and knowing Prophet Isa, do you find you love him more, you understand him more, you get a better understanding of him, and you can relate to him easier than as when you're a Christian?
Well, to tell you the truth, I never really got this man-God thing. What's that supposed to mean?
I don't think anyone gets it.
You're a God and you're a man. The fact that you're human means you're not divine, and if you're divine, you're not human. You can't be human and divine, because the two things preclude. They contradict each other, right? God is ever living and never dies. Human beings, they die. God is self-sufficient. Human beings are needy. So what does this mean? Man, God, type, whatever. So I never really got that. And I remember even when I was reading the Bible, the thing that stuck in my mind about Jesus was not the theology.
Mm.
You know, it was the things that he said. Blessed are the meek, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who seek justice. You know, the Beatitudes. Yeah, exactly. You know, that beautiful thing that, you know, don't try to take the twig out of someone's eye. And you got a big fat log in it. Not a big fat log, but I'm just sort of colloquializing.
So these teachings are still with you.
Exactly. And the thing, yeah, and of course they're just Islamic teachings.
Right,
They're the teachings of every prophet, right? But the point is that, see, I always really related to Jesus as a person, as a teacher, as a human being. I had a human message about how to live.
Right.
I never really got this whole theology of, you know, God committing suicide on a cross,
right.
you know, so he could forgive us for a sin we never even committed in the first place, right? I mean, what is that?
Right.
You know,
save us from his own punishment.
What, you know,
Right.
I'm just being, you know, I could really sort of talk about that a bit, but I won't. But, you know, I didn't really get that thing. So, yeah, I mean, Prophet Isa, you know, that's Islam. In Islam, you know who he really is, that he's a human being, he's a prophet, he is a messenger of God, he is a beloved messenger of God. He's one of the great messengers of God. And Muslims believe and know that Isa is going to return. He's going to come back and he's going to fight the Antichrist and he's going to break the cross, which is the symbol of the false religion that has been made in his name. And he's going to kill the pig, which is the symbol of the abandoning of God's law by the people who profess to be his followers, right? And he's coming back as a Muslim. He's going to come back, well, he was a Muslim, because in the sense that a Muslim is someone who submits to God and Jesus submitted to God, but he's going to come as a follower of the
Sharia.
law, the Sharia, the law that was given to Prophet Muhammad. And he's going to lead the Muslims according to the Islamic law. Yeah. So then there will be no excuse for anyone. You know, no excuse. And no excuse for the Jews who rejected him as the Messiah, and no excuse for the Christians who invented a false religion about him. That's why no one will have a choice except to follow Islam.
Yeah. And having been in this convention, Journey of Faith, about the Sirah, let me ask you one question. Why do you love Prophet Muhammad? Very personal. Why you personally love him?
I love the Prophet Muhammad because he is the one whom Allah chose to be, you know, to carry the guidance. And having lived that guidance and practiced it in my life, it is just the most sweetest, beautiful, most amazing thing that there is to have that guidance from Allah. And Allah chose Prophet Muhammad to be the vehicle, to be the example. And I suppose, you know, you could say, why do you love your mother? You love your mother because she has sacrificed so much for you. She has given so much for you. You know, and I suppose that's why also she has such a high status in Islam, because of what she's done. And similarly, when you think about what the Prophet ﷺ went through, what he sacrificed, what he suffered to bring us Islam, so we could know about Islam, how could you not love the Prophet? And you love him because he has all the characteristics of someone you would love. You know, and this is what you find in the life of the Prophet ﷺ. People used to hate him, but they didn't know him. The moment they got to know him, then they loved him more than anyone else, because when they really saw what his true characteristics were, then you couldn't help but love someone like that.
Really fast, short advice to all our new Muslim brothers who are finding Islam. What would be?
Well, I sort of gave the advice, so I'll just repeat it again. And my advice always to new Muslims is to establish the prayer. You know, establish the prayer, get the prayer sorted out. And I don't just mean in terms of just saying it, you know, like it's an exercise. I mean inside, internally. You know, manifest that prayer inside yourself. Make that prayer real inside yourself. You know, understand what the prayer is about. So it's not only an outward prayer, it's an inward prayer. You know, many Muslims sadly you know, the prayer is just a ritual. It's just something they just go through, almost like an exercise, and they don't even know the meaning of the words. They don't even know what it means, what they're saying. You know, that's not prayer, man. That's not what the salah is about. You know, so you need to pray internally as well as externally. That's the true prayer. So if you master that and you get that, then alhamdulillah, you know, then that's the rest. Like I said, it'll be an autopilot.
Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah
So
feek,
much.
bro. It's a pleasure.
Jazakallah khair everyone for watching. IslamDunk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.